Senate that we lost one of our colleagues, a father, a leader, and a builder of the Second Republic, who happened to come from my own senatorial district, Ondo South. He is Senator M.A.E. Onunkun, who has spent 98 years, 7 months, and 15 days. He participated very actively in the Second Republic Senate, and his activities cut across domestic and community participation in time of political socialization. He had been a very remarkable leader, like I said, a father of all, a builder of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and a man that's indelible in our mind. It's on this note that I invite the Senate, Mr. President, to kindly observe a minute silence prayer for the departed erudite scholar, leader, and builder of our state, and by extension, our dear country, Nigeria. Senator Onunkun was well known, and he participated actively in the Second Republic. And I think that we as a Senate, we owe him a duty to be of remembrance in our mind. So, Mr. Senate President, this is my personal explanation to the Senate, and this is my prayer. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You came under Order 42, and you have brought an information to the Senate on the demise of one of our distinguished senators who served in the First Republic, distinguished Senator Mark Onunkun. Am I right?
Senator M.A.E. Onunkun, as pronounced, Mr. Senate President. Onunkun.
Senator M.A.E.
Onunkun. C.O.N. Commander O.O.N.
O.O.N.
Yes.
And he was 98 years old.
He was 98 years old, 7 months, and 15 days.
What?
Yes. 98 years, 7 months, and 15 days.
Well?
How was
as
Senator M.A.E. Onunkun as pronounced.
M.A.E. Onunkun.
Yes, excellent.
98 years.
Yes.
7 hours.
7 months.
7 months.
15 days.
15 days.
Before he left.
And you don't know the hours and minutes.
Yes.
But that can only come from a professorial mind, a man with 7 PhDs, and particularly the PhD in warfare. So we thank you for bringing this to the fore. And it's quite unfortunate, so we extend our condolences to the family. And I believe strongly that the Senate will also send representation to see the family, because it's important that we care for our own, whether they were in the First, Second, or Third Republic. So may we now rise and observe a minute silence for the repose of this soul. May the great soul of very distinguished Senator M.A.E. Onunkun, OON, who passed away at the right.
His version, his take on the history of the Yoruba people. So, Baba, over to you.
Thank you. Back in the European, I think civil servant in those days, colonial officers, European, wrote a book on geography of Yoruba land, geography of Nigeria. So on Yoruba land, he has this to say. He said the Yorubas inhabit a large area of country in the southwestern part of Nigeria, including the colony of Lagos and the provinces of Ijebu, Ondo, Abeokuta, Oyo, and Ilorin. Ilorin, for example, is in the north, but they are the Yoruba people in Ilorin. Ilorin is Katunga is still in front of Ilorin.
That's in the north.
Katunga, that is not in the north. That was the seat of Oyo. The old Oyo was in Katunga before. It was sacked when they brought Alimi, a Fulani from Sokoto into Ilorin. That was a history by itself. Oyo was sacked and Olo came down south. That place where Ibadan is today was a home of Abeokuta people. When the Oyos came, Ibadan, everything they are regarded as Oyos. This Ibadan, Osun, Oshogbo, everywhere like that, including your father's place, in Bacho, all these places are in Osun today. They were regarded as Oyos because they speak one language. They are the people speaking original Yoruba. The best speakers of Yoruba in Nigeria. Now, Oyo was in Katunga a long time ago, 14 something, 15 something. So they were driven from there in a war led by the jihad from Sokoto. When Alimi was at Ilorin. Ilorin was under Oyo. It was a Yoruba province under Oyo. Then Oyo was after Ilorin towards the north. So that they were driven from the place. Yandafe was killed. Yandafe of Oyo was killed. And
that's the king of
Oyo. The king of Oyo.
Okay.
And they regarded as king of Oyo. In fact, the Oyo people who controlled a very large, up to Ibadan. Ibadan who had a band there. The warrant chief was the one in Ibadan. So Oyo who had the king, permanent king of all the Oyos, over Ibadan, Oshogbo, everywhere. But later now, Ibadan was occupied by the Egbas, Abeokuta people, originally. But when the influx of the Oyos came, running from Katunga, they kept to come down. There were so many that they said in the present Ibadan, they forced the Abeokuta people to leave. That was what led to a war between Abeokuta and Ibadan. The Abeokuta people went to the present site for the Abeokuta. So the Oyos occupied Ibadan, and part of them moved to Oyo town, to found Oyo town. That was Adafi Atiba, who went to found that present Oyo town. But then, to the history of the Yorubas now, the Yorubas inhabit a large area of country in the southwestern part of Nigeria. I'm repeating what I said before, including the colony of Lagos and the provinces of Ijebu, Ondo, Abeokuta, Oyo, and Ilorin. You see, that's the area where Nigeria, the Yorubas settled in Nigeria. Yes, they can find some Yorubas all over the place. But how did the Yoruba come? That's what we wanted to know. How did Yoruba come here? There are so many stories about it. Some are fake. There are fabulous things. They said she came from heaven in a chain or things like that. I don't believe it. You see, I don't believe that can happen.
That's a myth.
Then they said Lamurudu was the father of Oduduwa. Oduduwa is the person the Yorubas took as the supreme somebody who was the father of everybody before everybody went to where they are today. But Oduduwa must have a father. Lamurudu was the father. We were taught even at school that Lamurudu was the father of Oduduwa. But who was the father of Lamurudu? Nobody told us. Lamurudu cannot just come from heaven and say, I am the father of somebody. I think what we were taught by Professor Anene, who is not a Yoruba man, so he was an Igbo man, but he was a lecturer in the Nigerian College in 1958. We were doing a year course in the place. He told us, he made a research the Yoruba, what the Yoruba state is Lamrudu, the father of Oduduwa, the father of Oni, the father of everybody around here. Well, it may be so, but what we are taught, a better research told us that somebody must have begotten Lamrudu before he begat somebody. But then what we were told is that Kisra, there was an upheaval in Egypt and Sudan. Mm-hmm. You see, Kisra moved from Egypt to Sudan. He was in Sudan for a long time. He settled in the place. He had a family. But then there was an upheaval in the Sudan. So he had to come down south. Mm-hmm. From the Sudan, to come down south to found. Well, he had 3 children, 3 sons. Kisra had 3 sons, and their names are Niki, Kiama, and Niki, Busa, Niki, Kiama. If you know today, Niki is in Benin Republic. They are the Yoruba speaking stock in Benin Republic.
Okay.
But Kiama and Busa, they don't speak Yoruba. I don't decide a mixture of language. You know, Busa is the place where they had the Niger, where they had Nepal.
The dam, the country dam. Which side is that now? That's like Niger State. It's like the middle of the country.
Okay. So, and Kiama too, I don't know, is in the north also. But Niki must have given birth to Lamrudu that people were talking about. I'm not too sure about it, but somebody must be the father of Lamrudu. Niki was one of the sons of Kisra, who came from Egypt via Sudan to this side of the country. So then, he had these 3 sons and they went different places. Niki, you know that in Dahomey, which is they call Benin Republic now, there are Yoruba speaking people there.
Yeah.
They are the Niki people. You see, before 1884 of the Berlin Conference, which they had in Berlin, in Germany, there was what we know as scramble for Africa by the British people. Not only the British people, Europeans, French, all Europeans. Yeah. They are scrambling for Africa. Mm-hmm. Then one decoy.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
What time was that?
That was before 1884.
Okay.
Before 1884. Right. It started that the Portuguese had been visiting Benin over about 50 something.
Yeah.
During the reign of Elizabeth, the Queen, Elizabeth I. That was 1550 something like that. Okay. It was a long time ago. They had been coming here visiting. But they were doing it on that time for commercial purposes. Yeah. But when government now got interested, it was about 1800 or thereabout. Mm-hmm. Now, in 1883 or so, there was a rush to own parts of the colonies in parts of Africa here, the West Africa. One decoy, a French man, was dispatched by the French government to go and enter into treaty with Oba of Niki. Then he set out. Britain knew later, 2-3 months after, that decoy had gone to sign a treaty, to have a foothold in that place. So they sent out Captain Lugard from London. So now go rush to Niki. Maybe you can and get treaty signed for Britain.
Is that captain the one later called Lord Lugard?
Yes, the same person. Yes, the same person. Captain Lugard, he was then captain. Okay. Captain Lugard came. Captain Lugard just rushed straight to Niki. The Oba of Niki was blind. He was in the recesses of the river at the back of the thing. Yeah. He had so many servants, one of which was the chief servant. When Lugard came and met that chief servant, he was a very big flowing agbada. Then he negotiated with that man. That man told him that he was the Oba of Nikki. He didn't take them to the original, the proper Oba.
Yes.
So they signed a treaty. So he rushed back to London to say, I have got a treaty signed with the Oba of Nikki. Then London published their paper. We have Nikki, we have this. The car was still on the road. He was investigating. He was staying weeks in some villages investigating. By the time the car got to the place, Lugard had left with a treaty signed by a wrong person. Now, they told the court that the Oba was a blind man. When the court got to the palace of the Oba, he saw that big man with the brother. Yes, come, I'm the Oba of this place. He said, no, you are not the Oba. We'll give you present, okay? We'll take her to the Oba. They took the court to the correct Oba.
This is the French.
The correct Oba. And he signed a treaty to give him present from the president of France. In French. President Nani.
I don't have president.
President. Because I know yes, President Nani, president of France. So he presents to the Oba. The Oba signed a treaty with that man, that blind Oba, signed the correct treaty. Then the court went back to France and they published that they had agreed with the Nikki that had signed a treaty of protection, treaty of friendship, treaty to come and colonize them. Okay. Then there was to be a clash. There was there was a war. This clash, London was claiming it. France was claiming it also. So it led to such a very war was imminent. Nikki, at the verge of war. They are at the brink of colliding with each other, fighting for Nikki. That was a race for Nikki. This trouble was taken to the Berlin Conference in 1884, October 1884 to February 1885. There was the Berlin Conference, at which, yes, in Berlin, where this resolved so many problems about these colonial possessions of the European governments. So they set up at the Berlin Conference. Then they set up a small tribunal to come and share the thing. You see, if you see the map of Nigeria, you will see how it is. If they start from that Bight of Benin, from Topo will understand. I think you too should. From the Bight of Benin, that's Lagos, there. You see the thing goes straight. You see it curving like this, curving like this, curving like this. There was a reason for that curving. See, when during the Berlin Conference, when they agreed to settle, they said, okay, French should own the place. So that way we went to Dahomey then, now the Republic. But you see, in drawing their line, when they come to a village, if the line is to divide the village into two, between two governments, they will curve it here.
They will go
to make it belong to one state. When they see another one, they curve it the other way.
Okay.
That's why you find map of Nigeria curving like that.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
The same thing also happened in the Biafra area.
Yes.
In the other side of Nigeria, in the east, you find the thing curves. Because when they were trying to divide, then the thing will divide the village into two. They don't allow it. They okay, give this village to this government. And when they come to the next village, give this village to this government. That's why we find it curved like this.
Yeah, so that's why Cameroon.
Cameroon was a German something. This Cameroon, I'm happy you mentioned it. Cameroon was a German before 1914 to 19, before the First World War. It was a German possession.
Okay.
It was a German possession. Cameroon was a German possession. Most Tanganyika and other things like that were German possession. And even in South Africa, we had a part there which called Namibia. It was part of it. It was German territory. It was German. The German commanded those to control those areas before the First World War.
Yes, yes.
But after the First World War, they formed the League of Nations, and they took all these possessions from the Germans and give it in trusteeship to different governments. They give some to France. Cameroon divided into two. Southern Cameroon they give to British.
Okay.
And Northern Cameroon they give to France. That was how they did it in the East Africa. They had Tanganyika there. Now they don't know other places too. They gave it to Britain. Namibia they give to Britain. They were all German possessions. Even close here, well, Victoria is a city. You know about Victoria. Victoria is in the Cameroons. We have Victoria there. Victoria was the queen of England at the time. It was an English possession originally, but the Germans came here to sign a treaty in October Division here with the Amakwetu of Mahi. So the Germans had this place as a possession of German. The Mahi area here. Well, when the Berlin Conference settled the thing, everybody now, then Nigeria wanted to be together because Nigeria were two protectors, the northern and southern protectors. They were administered by different government. But southern were making much money, not no money. But the governor in the north was not then Captain Lugard. Was the governor of the north. The governor here was less superior. Lugard was superior to every other governor. You see, there were the governors in Lagos, the governor in Kaduna. But we saw that there is excess fund in the south. There is deficit in the north. So this government decided that the home government now, that is the London, decided that these two people must marry. It was the recommendation of Lugard that we should marry. Lugard became the first governor general. That was in 1912. Soon after, there was the First World War, which caused so many disruptions in the country. Then the Nigeria then had to say, how can we have German in October Division? Why Ondo is in British people, Yoruba area. Then Victoria is the principal town in the southern Cameroon, which belonged to Britain. So they swapped it. They swapped it, yes. They gave Victoria to German. Then German have left this October Division very close. You know they got that.
It's not far here.
It's not far here.
I never know that one.
They say then the Amakwetu of Mahi had a treaty with Germany. Had a treaty with the Chancellor of Germany. Had a treaty. You see, this preserved there. But that Berlin Conference changed everything. So that one, German will take the British possession, which is Victoria in the Cameroons, where German had the light portion, and now Britain will take Mahi because we want Nigeria to be compact. So that's about Nigeria. Then the Yorubas we are talking about, I think it's our crux, the crux of what we actually going after. Now, Kisra was the grandfather of the Yorubas.
The one that come from Sudan.
Yes, we are come from Sudan. And Niki must have been the father of Lamurudu, whom people agreed was the father of Oduduwa. People extol Oduduwa so much. That's the father of Yorubas, Oduduwa. Not even Lamurudu is his own father.
Yeah, many people don't even know Lamurudu.
Nobody knows about Lamurudu. You see, Oduduwa is a prominent
Oduduwa must do something, make everybody.
He's a principal person.
He was a prominent man, yeah.
Very prominent indeed, everywhere. You see, not long ago you find a quarrel between the Alaafin of Oyo, and the Alaafin of Oyo and the Ooni of Ife. You see, Oduduwa stayed at Ife. He was resident at Ife. But Oduduwa's first son was the one who went to found Oyo in Katunga. You know, Oyo had a very large territory to rule. That we were in Katunga before these Fulani people came to cause trouble there and push them down here. So now, because Ife happened to be the seat of the Oduduwa
Empire.
now, and the Ooni of Ife, he was a symbol of Yoruba. So he was claiming the father of all the Yorubas, and Alaafin said no, he is the father of the Yoruba because Alaafin in fact controlled the larger portion of the Yoruba people, the whole of Ibadan, the Oyo people, the whole of Oyo, the whole of Osogbo, the whole of and you only there too. Everywhere there, close, even before they were in control of Ilorin. They were control when they were in Katunga, they were in control of Ilorin. Ilorin was a Yoruba settlement, you see, where Fonja was asked to go and be the governor. It was the Alaafin of Oyo in Katunga who appointed Fonja as governor of Ilorin. Fonja was the general in the army of the Oyo people. So, but later, Alimi came and ejected, forced the people out of the place. When the white men came, it was they who stopped the internecine wars that were. And Ibadan was fighting in 5 fronts. Ibadan was a terrible place. Nobody could defeat Ibadan. Of all, they are the strongest people in Yoruba land. They are the strongest warriors in Yoruba land. You see, when the white men came, Ibadan was fighting in 5 fronts. They were fighting the Egbas. They are fighting the Jebus. They are fighting the Ekiriparako. They were fighting the Jayi. They were in 5 fronts. But they could not be conquered. You see, that was when the British came. I said, we could stop this fighting. The governor in Lagos came. There was one book on Yoruba, which you can't get it. Kanjika had it. I took it from Kanjika and read it while I was there. You know Kanjika very well.
Yeah, Dr. Kanjika, yeah.
If you get it, I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know where he's now going. When he left here, he went to the
north.
Went to this place, Yola area.
Yola, yeah. I remember
was,
to the north. Yeah.
It was now 2 states. Was it this place? 2 states. Now, when there, that was where he went. But there, I understand that he left.
He went back to India.
He had the book. I took the book from here. I read it. It was the Yoruba, history of the Yorubas by Dr. Johnson, Dr. Samuel Johnson.
Samuel Johnson. No, I heard about Samuel Johnson. It's a British historian.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, okay, that's a different one.
That's a different one. That's the one that who wrote the book and asked the Earl of Chesterfield to come and sponsor the book.
Okay.
That was Johnson. That was Dr. Johnson, Samuel Johnson, he was a very poor man, but was highly educated.
Oh yeah, very popular.
Very popular and very enlightening. He wrote a book. He had no money to publish the book, so he approached the queen, no, not the queen, the Earl of Chesterfield, who was a Earl.
The Earl of Chesterfield.
They are terrible big people with large estates and things. So he went to the Earl of Chesterfield and begged him to sponsor the book so that they could publish it. The man refused. He said, get away. Can't publish any book. Get away. He sent him, he rebuffed him.
He was a nobody.
The Earl of Chesterfield was nobody. Then after years, 2-3 years, he was able to get a sponsor. He published the book. When he published the book, the whole of England rocked. We were surprised. It was a beautiful book. Very good. Everybody was admiring the book. So the Earl of Chesterfield sent him a paper congratulating him on the book. Then he replied to the Earl of Chesterfield. He said, he replied, that Johnson, the historian, wrote back to the Earl of Chesterfield saying, he is not a patriot, my lord, that looked unconcerned on a man struggling for life in the waters. But when the man has reached the ground, encompass him with help. That was what he told the Earl of Chesterfield, and the man kept quiet. That he is not a patriot, my lord, that looked unconcerned. Somebody fell into a river. He couldn't swim. Then the man was needing help. You didn't give the help at the time. The man reached the ground and you say, encompass him with help. What kind of help? He could have died in the water.
Exactly.
You see, he could have died in the water. He told the Atijosan that the Atijosan just kept quiet because he knew that's a different Samuel Johnson. That was Samuel Johnson was a Yoruba man and not your man.
Okay.
Yes, he was, when the Europeans were in Lagos, they were the few enlightened people among the Yoruba. They could speak English, they could do anything, they interact with the European, with the governor. It was the governor who sent him to settle disputes among the communities, especially Ibadan, fighting with Glory, fighting with this, fighting with so many places. It was he who went there to mediate on behalf of the governor of Lagos, of governor of Nigeria, not the governor, just governor then, because it was in only 1912 that they had governor general.
Yeah, they
used to have governor in the south and governor in the north.
Yeah, two protectorates.
Two protectorates there. Then that Johnson was sent there, was an educated. If you see the paper he wrote, although he wrote it in Yoruba, no. He wrote it in English. He wrote the thing in English. He didn't write it in Yoruba. He wrote it beautiful in English. You see, he wrote it Kiriniu. I think it was published in England. So I think it's those people Kiriniu. This animal.
Yeah, lion.
Lion. Kiniun is K-I-N-I-U-N. Kiniun.
Yeah.
But he wrote Kiriniu.
Like
Kiriniu, a very long name. Yes, it made a mistake in publishing it. I think it's not the man who made that mistake. I think the publishers.
It's probably publishers.
So now,
I'm sure I can search for the book online. I'll write it.
Find if you can get it. We would love to have it.
I'll search
now,
for it.
Yes, search for it. It's the history of the Yorubas by Samuel Johnson.
By Samuel Johnson,
yes. Yoruba Samuel Johnson.
I'll search for it.
Definitely. He wrote the thing. So he wrote so many things. If you can get it, you will know better than I'm saying now about the Yoruba people. Now, but
I'll definitely send you a copy.
It's a result of research that Dr. Anene made, that he taught us about. That I'm telling you now, Johnson might not be known to Johnson, I don't know. But Johnson had a full history of the Yoruba people. Very big book.
Yeah.
Fairly large, big book. So, that was that. Talking about this Yorubas now, when they came now, about their origin, I think I would not personally link it with what I learned. Niki must have been the father of Lamurudu, who was the father of Odua, whom the all Yorubas extol. In fact, the Yorubas believe that the war started at Ife. That's what they said. The whole world started at Ife,
the cradle of civilization.
The cradle of life.
Human race.
That's what they say. Said it was Ife, cradle of something. That the man, where Onanya came from heaven. Onanya now was the son of Odua. Onanya was one of his children of Odua. It was Onanya now. Before then, the Edos, that is the Benin people, the Edos used to have as their Oba the Ogisos. Oba of Edo was then Ogiso, and they had a problem. One day Oranya went there and they made him Oba. Since then, you stop the lineage of Ogido. The dynasty in Oyo is Oranya. The dynasty in Benin is Oranya. That line, who's taking the Yorubas, that line, the lineage, I think it was Oranya who became the first Oba of Benin. Then the Ogito dynasty disappeared.
It's a Yoruba.
It's a Yoruba man. He went from Ife.
Okay, I want to be king.
Yeah. It was the man they said came via a chain or something. Or Oranya, yes, from that. So now, Oranya was the first Oba of Benin. So that line of people who are taking the Obaship in Benin, it's father to son something. It's a father to son issue. If the father didn't have a son or a male child, then his brother will take it. But it doesn't go outside that family. It's a Yoruba line, but they don't speak Yoruba now. They speak the language of the people.
But they have Yoruba names too.
Probably yes. Some of them are Akpata, things like that. You know, there was one senator Akpata. We were there together. The man from Benin was there in 1979 to 83 in Senate. but they bear so many names which are Yoruba names. There are so many of them. And even part of them, the Akoko people, part of Akoko, Edo Akoko Edo, call them Akoko Edo, they are Yoruba speaking inside those states. Inside those states. So that is little about the Yorubas. Let me see where there is another point I can make. I've talked about Kisra, geography, where the Yorubas are settled. Today you have found the Yorubas all over the places, but certainly they are concentrated in Lagos, Ijebu, Ondo, Abeokuta, which they call the Egbas, Oyo, and the Ilorin. That's why you find Yorubas who they are the controllers of these places.
How about Ibadan?
Ibadan is Oyo, Ibadan is Oyo.
Oh,
Ibadan is Oyo province.
Okay.
You see, yes, Ibadan is the largest of all of them.
Okay.
Ibadan is in Oyo province.
Oyo. Alright.
Even your father, everybody, they are regarded as Oyos.
Oyo.
Yes, Oshogbo, everywhere they are known as Oyo. They used to have tribal marks, yes, distinguishing them from family to family. So that's where they are settled. Then what can I talk about again? Katunga, I've spoken about Katunga. Oyo Empire, yes. Research by Yanene, yes. Namrudu, yes. Race for Nikki, yes. Visa migration, yes. Geography of the place, yes. That's about all because, but we have, now for example, out here, in Ikane here, and it will be so with all other places. Where did we come from? Some came from Ife, some came from Benin. Abudu, for example, is the head of everybody. Came from Benin, was the son of Oba of Benin, Oba Sige of Benin. But was the son of Oba Sige of Benin. They came from all over the places, all over. You see, like Lagos, for example. You said Lagos is Yoruba, but is it Yoruba who are there?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, that's it. People come from all over the places. In Ibadan, for example, so if the upper of Ibadan was subject to the Alaafin of Oyo, then at first they called it it was Baale of Ibadan, big as it is. He had only Baale. It was in those political days that one or another who changed it to Oba of Ibadan. Oba of Ibadan. They used to be Baale, a subordinate chief. Subordinate to the Alaafin of Oyo. Still up to now, he acknowledged the Alaafin of Oyo as the supreme head of the Oyo people, all Oyo people. Ibadan, Oshogbo, Gbajo, Okuku, everywhere around there, and Bongan, all these places. Yeah. So Itikale also came. So I told you that some of us in Akoko in Oshogbo there, we come from Akoko division, from LM's town, Okeagbe. And where they came, people who came from different places. That is how these old settlements were founded in those days. You see, they came from different places. You see, but I will recommend that you should get Johnson's History of the Yorubas. Okay. It will give you. So, but it will talk about so many wars. Yeah. So many wars. Okiriji war, something war, Ekiti war. You see, then this war, Ibadans were very powerful people. Even when the Egbas and the Jebus were in league against Ibadan, they stopped Ibadan getting guns from the Europeans coming, especially the Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first to come to this area. They brought in arms in exchange for so many things that they wanted to take back to Ivory and things like that. Spices and things like that. They brought guns, brought clothing, everything. Now, the Egbas and the Jebus were in league. They blocked the road to Lagos. Ibadan could not have access to Lagos to buy these things. And these people didn't come upland. They just stayed in Lagos, sell their wares, and go away. So Ibadan didn't have enough of this thing until they cut a through Ikorodu. They cut a road through Ikorodu, and they sailed through Ikorodu and got to Lagos to get advantage. Because if they had weapons, nobody could face them. They are terrible people. They are people like Akitola, Akitola, Kiniwo Nibudo.
That was the, I remember that book, that was the, it was like a field marshal.
Yeah, that was field marshal. Akitola was a field marshal. That was the book. I was reading it from Kanjika's book. Okay. This one I told you, that you said you saw. You see? We have so many generals.
And we're happy. You know what? I do that. So it's my great pleasure to commission this realization center. Function hall is function hall, multi-purpose hall, donated by our distinguished Papa Senator Onunkun. And I do this in the name of the Father, Amen. And of the Son, Amen. And of the Holy Spirit. Baba, I pray where to go. I was to come in. Mother, I want to Baba will go. Senator Michael Onunkun. The lecture hall, because it's multi-purpose now, multi-purpose hall. This hall was built and donated by Senator Michael Emmanuel Onunkun. It is Atijosan. Okay, that's your son. Atijosan. Okay, it's commissioned today by me, Governor of Ondo State and Bristol University, to the glory of God and for the benefit of mankind. Baba, Ashu. Baba insisted I would just look, I will honor him. Look. Yes.
Not all. Come. Just be patient. We are still going to commission. When we are done, not all. Sorry. Not all.
Baba